Monday morning, the team meeting kicks off. 3 items on the agenda. Same 3 items as last week and the week before. The team is working on them, genuinely working. Everyone's heads down, right, doing the mahi, but nothing is actually resolving. The problems stay open. The conversations repeat week after week after week. And at some point, the owner stops asking what's the status and just starts managing it themselves. Because at least when that happens, then it moves. That's not a people problem. Business and productivity look identical from the inside. Everyone's working, the calendar's full, there's noise and movement and things happening. But progress is slow, decisions are reactive, the same conversations keep recurring. Here's what most owners miss. When there's no operating rhythm, effort fills the space. The team is working, and they're working hard, but not necessarily on the right things, in the right sequence, with the right people in the loop. Because without structure, everyone defaults to what's loudest in front of them, not what matters most. The owner keeps getting pulled in, not because the team is incompetent, but because there's no mechanism to surface, own, and close issues without the owner in the middle. That's the invisible chaos. It doesn't look broken from the outside, but from the inside, it's exhausting. Here's what I've noticed working with New Zealand businesses in trades, engineering, professional services, construction, you name it. The most profitable businesses are not the most exciting ones. They're the most boring ones. Same meeting structure, same agenda format, same meeting reporting cadence every week. Boring, hear this, boring is good. Boring makes money. Chaos is expensive, not just in rework and mistakes, but in all the invisible overhead. The time the owner spends clearing Monday's mess instead of thinking about the business. The team waiting for direction because there's no structure to generate it. The decisions, I suppose, that sit open just because nobody's quite sure who owns them. When the business runs on chaos, the owner becomes the solution to everything. And that's the exact problem we're trying to solve in this series. I worked with a trade business owner in Wellington, 30 staff, good revenue and good numbers, certainly from the outside. The owner was completely fried. He described his weeks as literally controlled chaos. We sat down and I asked him to pull up his last 4 Monday morning meeting agendas. They were almost identical. The same 3 or 4 issues week after week after week. His team wasn't lazy. They were actually trying really hard. But there was no mechanism to close the loop between meetings. Issues got raised but not resolved. Priorities got discussed but not agreed. So they came back the following week, slightly worse, slightly more urgent. What we did was we built his meeting structure from scratch, fixed agenda, same format, clear ownership before anyone leaves the room. 4 weeks later, his Monday meeting was half the length. Not because there were fewer problems, but because problems were getting resolved between meetings, not accumulated for the next one. That's what a rhythm does. It doesn't add more work. It closes the loop. This is system 3 of the 7 systems of a self-managing business, operating rhythm. The cadence that keeps the business running without the owner carrying everything, every thread in his head. The 3 components, cadence, right? So a predictable meeting structure at weekly, monthly, and quarterly frequencies. That's number 1. Number 2, a scoreboard, numbers that are visible, current, and relevant to decisions. And a resolution mechanism, a clear way to surface, own, and close issues within the cycle, not carry them forward. Without all 3, meetings become theatre. Information becomes noise, and the owner then stays as the operating system. Here's what the other side looks like. The Monday meeting is 50 minutes. Everyone comes prepared. Numbers are reviewed briefly because they're actually visible between meetings too. Issues are surfaced and owned with a named person and a deadline. Priorities are set for the week, and then everyone goes and does the work. Issues get resolved between meetings, not at the next one. Numbers drive decisions, not gut feel. The week's predictable, not because nothing goes wrong, but because there's a structure to absorb it. The owner stops being the rhythm. The business has one of its own. Here's the question I want you to sit with this week. How many issues from your last team meeting were also on the agenda the week before? If the answer is more than 1 or 2, you don't have a people problem, you have a rhythm problem. And a rhythm problem is fixable. I'll link the operating rhythm of the 7 systems ebook in the description. It's free And if this video felt familiar, share it with someone who needs it, all right, who needed to hear it. I'm Chris Whelan, and of course this is the Self-Managing Business. See you next week. Cheers.